We're in the Great Temple of Petra, and this is the Theatron or Theatron, I'm not entirely sure. But actually down there is the stage. But we're going to do it up here just because this is sort of the area that looks over the temple. I just wanted to take, as long as I'm here in the Great Temple of Petra, and I'm a speaker, who can lose the opportunity to actually speak in something like this? This is the 620-seat Theatron. Down there is the stage, but I just want to tell a quick story that some of you have heard before, but has never actually been put onto recorded version. And this is the story of me, a squirrel, and my favorite car. Once upon a time, I was driving along in Cape Breton Island. For those of you who don't know Cape Breton Island, most of the roads involve a cliff, 8 feet of road, and then a cliff down to the ocean. And I'm driving a little too fast for probably the windy, curvy road that I'm on. But as I come around the corner, I see something I'd never actually seen before, which is live and in person, a bald eagle. And it's absolutely incredible, and it's desperately trying to take off, and I can't figure out why it's having such a struggle. But I realize as I move closer and closer that what's happened is right before I came around the corner, this eagle had dove out of the sky and nailed a huge fat squirrel for lunch. The problem was the squirrel was not entirely enthused with the idea of being lunch, so it was putting up quite the fight. So this poor eagle's dealing with a squirming lunch and me bearing down on it at about 80 kilometers an hour. Just as I get a little bit closer to the eagle, it finally manages to get airborne and goes over top of my car. But at this particular moment, our friend, the squirrel, decides to get one last good shot in. Boom. The eagle lets it go. It plummets straight down through the sunroof of my car. Now, I don't know if you guys know much about squirrels, but they seem like quiet little nut-gathering creatures. But when they're terrified, they make the most awful noise you could imagine. And here's something that you might not know either. Squirrels become terrified when dropped 6 feet from an eagle through the open sunroof of a car. So he begins to rapidly accelerate around my car because he doesn't necessarily understand windows. He thinks if you can see outside, you can get to outside. So a bleeding, screaming squirrel is rotating rapidly around my car, and I, remembering all the advice that was ever given to me by my driver's ed instructor, slam on the brakes. The car begins to rotate rapidly. All of a sudden, I'm going this direction, the squirrel's going this direction, both of us are screaming at the top of our lungs. All of a sudden, the car stops facing the other direction, my heart's beating 1,000 miles a minute, and at that moment, our friend the squirrel figures out how to exit the car. It bounces off the passenger seat and back out through the sunroof, running down the hood to what we think is safety. But our friend the eagle is still a part of this story. As it leaps off the front of the hood of the car, the eagle comes out of the sky, grabs it midair, and with 3 sweeps, off into the distance. This is the type of thing you don't see often in your life. So, here's the leadership tip for those of us who stayed with us here in the Grand Temple of Petra. Just because a problem is out of sight doesn't necessarily mean that it's out of mind. I got a chance to speak here and all the places I can't thank, and everybody who's made it possible enough. We're going to move on. Take care of yourselves. Thanks.
Brady, have a nice week.
Thank you.